How's it going, boys and girls? Data here, ready to watch the NHL 21 official reveal trailer. This is the first time I've ever really been ready to go for an NHL edition that came out right away. I don't think I've ever bought an NHL right when it came out. Now that I'm making videos, I'm excited to see the reveal trailer and go ahead and get it first day and all that good stuff. But I've been playing NHL since around NHL 05, I believe. I'm not that old, but NHL 05 I've been playing since, and I bought every version from like 07 to 14. I bought them nonstop, and then I started buying them every second year, sometimes every third year, because I wasn't too impressed. But I have high hopes this year for NHL 21. Seems like they're going to be doing a bit of a revamp of the Be a Pro. If you saw the original little teaser trailer, it seems as though they have a little bit of a live the life type of thing coming, which was like already present but then taken away, and now it's back. So we'll see. Obviously, what I care most about is franchise mode. If Be a Pro is really awesome, I would start a series on that. That would be cool. But obviously, the things that we're looking forward to on franchise mode in a perfect world that would never happen is the All-Star game, the skills, the All-Star weekend with the skill competition, Winter Classic. Obviously, a revamp of the coaching system and the chemistry. So there's a lot of things that people are looking forward to, but I know what this trailer is going to be. I'm hoping that there's some good stuff, but it'll be like, look at all these crazy new goal celebrations, a new anticipatory offensive AI, and all things like that. And look at these big hits and cool dekes, and oh, lacrosse-style goals. Wow, get ready to abuse those in every online match. So that's going to be annoying, but I'm just hoping for a bit of a bone maybe for people who have been dying for some Be a Pro stuff and just not just all HUT and all that. So premieres in 60 seconds. The two names that I've really been hearing for the cover, I've been hearing Pierre-Luc Dubois. I've also been hearing a bit of Nate McKinnon. I think I also heard a bit of Artemi Panarin. I think that was more just hopeful. I think if I had to put money on it right now, I saw a lot about Pierre-Luc Dubois. So we'll see who's on the cover, but either way, we are ready to go see what EA has to offer for us here in NHL 15 version 6.0. 11 a.m. Eastern, and here we go. Oh, another minute 56 to go. Thanks, EA. What a surprise. Okay, 5 seconds. There's literally already released on Facebook I saw 2 minutes ago. So here we go. Hoping for big things for Be a Pro, a really immersive system.
Picture this. You're one of the greatest prospects to ever come from your country. Picture being thrust into a foreign culture.
George McPhee, how are you?
And can barely speak the language. But
Gotta say, NHL 7, probably the best NHL. So this is good if Ovi's the cover athlete.
Picture yourself celebrating.
I want an opening video from NHL 7 with Darkest Days playing. Greatest intro ever.
Like it'll be your last. You make a big splash, because it's who you are. And that puts a big target on your back.
Okay, so far I'm seeing nothing of NHL 21. I was at that skills competition. Love that.
You long for it. You command it. You make the impossible.
Best goal of all time, possibly.
Picture yourself inspiring the next generation.
I was at that game. That memory's just kind of engraved in my mind. Probably the greatest goal that I've ever seen.
Picture rewriting the blueprint on creativity, on passion, on a way to play.
Ovi's inspired so many players to be like him. The passion, the way he plays the game.
Okay, great story about Ovi, but okay, there's the lacrosse goal, of course.
The Capitals just can't seem to get it done.
Picture silence enough.
One of the greatest moments in hockey history, it's up there.
They can't picture the league without you. And your rivals.
Who do you think is gonna win the heart? You.
Sid, nice guy.
They recognize how much you mean to the game of hockey and how much you love it. So, as you picture your path to greatness.
Okay, they're gonna talk about how you can become the next Ovi, right? Yeah. That's it? You're kidding me. EA. You're kidding me, boys. Oh, man. I was expecting a lot more from that. What else can we look up to bulk up this video? There has to be something. I saw a video from the Montreal Canadiens account, actually. I recognize greatness here with NHL 21. Let me see here. Recognize greatness. What do you got for me, boys?
Hey,
hold on.
Picture this. You're the next big thing. And you're drafted by your hometown team. As you picture your path to greatness. What does it look like?
Okay, so what I see in this one is that here's the Bell Center area, La Centre Belle. Then it shows me, okay, here's me with, this is Marc Bergevin over here. Actually, this is Gary Bettman. This is always the Bettman that they show when you give the cup. And over here you have Bill Daly, let's say. And then you start going over here. This guy's name, hold on, right here, this guy's name is William. So obviously we're talking about either it's one of two things. It's either like Alex Hunter from FIFA, where you have one player, you choose his team, you choose a few things, but basically it's like it's already a cookie cutter type of career mode. Or you can make it yourself, where it's you put your last name, you choose your team, or even you don't choose your team, get drafted. It's Be a Pro, but just a lot more immersive. Possibly like MLB The Show, where here you are in the locker room, you have a discussion with the coach, you do your training session. That would be pretty great. But right now, they're not showing me much that gets me super excited yet. Because if it's just, here's like a couple interviews and like, oh, your fan meter has gone up and you have a few more social media followers, that's not going to sell the game for me. I want to know more about the other features. So let me see what else we can find about this. What I would love is like what we had last year, the NHL 20 franchise mode trailer of 24 minutes. I guess that's not coming anytime soon. So not much to say right now concerning NHL 21. They had no idea who the cover star was going to be, obviously. Neither did I, but don't give me a list of names, and then the guy who's on it is not one of them. But Alex Ovechkin from NHL 07 to NHL 21, he's back. Let's just watch a couple seconds of this fast. This is just vintage. It doesn't get better than this. Vintage NHL, vintage OV, a great game, a great soundtrack. I really miss this. Look at all these faces in here. Here he goes through the entire Panthers team. Zoop, 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 right through them like water. Jeremy Roenick. Datsuk, beauty. Ooh, there's a crazy goal. Darren McCarthy's coming up soon with his overtime goal. Oh, huge hits. Olaf Kozlug, furious. Jan Bulis. There's Darren McCarthy with his OT winner. Woo! There's Jan Bulis. Marian Gabrick. Ryan Smith points to you right there. The darkest days. Rick Nash. Dion Phaneuf. Ovi Biggs. Man, whew, gets me going. That is good stuff. Anyways, I guess we'll call it off there. Just to say that X-Tech put out a tweet saying, obviously I can't say much, but Be a Pro is good, can confirm. Other aspects I'm iffy on, but you'll enjoy Be a Pro, I can tell you that for sure. Also tweeting that I've played a good amount of NHL 21, and I can say that the new revamped Be a Pro is really fun, something the series desperately needed. Another tweet here from people who have played NHL 20 in advance. They have already been putting out some tweets. One of them here is that players in World of Chell will be able to report offensive player and goalie names from the leaderboard in the mode, so HUT names can also do that. So thankfully, that's exactly what this game needed. People in the comments are just being salty as always. But if you were playing NHL and you saw the names that were being used for teams and for players, you would just be absolutely floored and shocked. So that's a great thing that EA has finally implemented that we can all get on board for. And I know a lot more will be coming out in the coming days, but there isn't much to say now aside from Be a Pro. Looks like it's going to be great. So looking forward to doing a Be a Pro series, whatever it's going to be called now. Live the life, build the career, become the all-star. Concerning franchise mode, I have found some information, doing a little bit more of searching on the interwebs, talking about gameplay being faster, smarter, all this great fancy words as always. World of Chell, new ranked seasons. I don't really do Chell or EASHL. I know you'll be able to do something called Hut Rush, where you will be able to, it'll be like a streamlined version, it says right here. Well, you guys can read. You can jump into games quickly, rank up achievements, etc. You can do practice mode with your EASHL team. But what's really interesting is franchise mode for me right here. Franchise mode adds an exciting experience for one of the marquee events of every season, the trade deadline. So it seems as though the big addition to franchise mode will be like a mini game for the trade deadline. You will feel the pressure of the approaching deadline with real-time updates that lead to important decisions on which players to target players to target and trade for. Just like the real trade deadline, the market value of players will fluctuate as the day goes on, and live trade alerts will move rapidly via the trade deadline tracker. So that'll be pretty interesting in terms of, they've done well since removing the phones when it comes to the trade deadline in recent, well, at least in last NHL 20. You have players' trade value dropping as it gets closer to the deadline if they're on an expiring deal, as well as having trade alerts come in and tell you that this guy's been traded. You saw him on the block 2 days ago, so it makes sense. But a mini game that'll have things fluctuating throughout the day and market value and decisions and feeling the pressure, now that really gives it the immersive general manager feeling. So that's something I'm very much looking forward to. Although it's not a big addition to franchise mode, it is something nice, and I'm looking forward to hopefully reading about more. Forbes put out a similar article all about Be a Pro being revamped, a fresh feel to franchise, Be a Pro, all that enhances the game's narrative and quality of life. Players have a chance to live on both on and off the ice. So hopefully it won't be crazy off the ice stuff where it's like going out to dinner with people, but as well not too basic as just updating your social media account. As well as the same thing, it's all these advertisements, my goodness. As well as the franchise mode, players will feel the pressure of the approaching deadline with real-time updates that rapidly the deadline ticker, etc., etc. So that'll be interesting to see. Not much else that we have for right now, but that's better than nothing. In the mini game, the clock is constantly going like in the draft. So it would be starting at 6 a.m. and it ends at noon. So I guess that's from Pacific Standard Time. So it would really be from like 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Eastern. So they've asked for it to be sped up because if not, it's like a 12 to 10 minute mode of just sitting and waiting for trades to happen. So I see that being a headache, but hopefully they do add the ×4, ×6, ×8 sim feature, because just sitting there for 12 minutes, and like if you don't want to make any trades and you're just sitting there, I suppose you could just skip the mode itself, but if you want to do your due diligence and show up, a 12-minute wait is pretty long. So I like that the clock's always ticking. It makes it feel really real. But I hope it's not so real that I have to go to bed early the night before and bring a meal and as I sit down in front of the screen and wait for offers to come in. And Bacon Country saying that as well as having the Sveshnikov move, the Kucherov move, Crosby move, Hut Rush. And there's also going to be coming a free agent frenzy minigame. So I'm not sure if he meant to say the trade deadline, but it seems as though free agent frenzy will also have a similar thing as the trade deadline, as we just spoke about. But Be a Pro also talks about, aside from the upgrades, there's actual cut scenes. So I'm hoping that means like actual voice actors and CGI of like real faces, similar to the Hunter Journey mode in FIFA. And thank goodness the blackberries are gone. No more blackberries at the trade deadline. There's not many more mid-season trades. Deadline is packed with offers, which is great if you use your trade block correctly. So no more garbage, not as much garbage, I hope. Super easy to make big trades that you wouldn't think of. So very excited for all that. Thank you, X-Tech, for all your thoughts. No phones coming back. Thank you very much. And he even wrote out what it kind of looks like on the screen. So thank you very much, X-Tech, using your tweets to help boost my information levels in this video. And even a record book as well. So that is so awesome. I can't wait to see that. It updates if a player in your franchise sim breaks an HL or team record. So I don't know if it'll just tell you the most goals, most points, etc. of all time, or it'll actually give you like the top 10 plus. But finally, if a player in your simulation breaks a record on your team, whether it be just a franchise goal or point record or an NHL record, it'll finally keep track of that. And you can keep track of multiple players, perhaps, if you have maybe 3 of them who make it into the top 20 all time, something like that. So anyways, record book in NHL 21, franchise mode. That is going to be huge. And this is literally just coming out on the fly. X-Tech also saying that you can choose to be a conservative seller, conservative buyer, or buyer. I'm assuming that will, yeah, there it is. It will affect the trades you get. I can't even read. I'm just talking before I read. However, using your trade block will help you the most. So choosing that to yourself also adds to your responsibilities as a general manager, because you'll have to decide if your team is going to be good enough to make a push for the playoffs or if you're just going to kind of sit back and be a seller. Draft picks will also continue to have big value, but possibly even more, especially second-round picks. That will be huge. And chemistry, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be changing, as it's even easier possibly to get a +5. So chemistry and coaching still seems to be broken, but the trading and the, I guess, the AI around trading seems to be a bit smarter in that way. You'll have the ability to turn on better draft classes, which will allow you to find more high-end gems later in the draft, such as franchise players every other year and lots of 72 medium elites in the 4th, 5th round. Personally, I wouldn't want to do this and make it how it was in HL 19, where you can just draft every franchise goalie and literally 10 out of like the 15 best goalies in the NHL in the year 2030 were all drafted by you and you traded them away because they had great trade value for first round picks. I wouldn't want to turn it on high and have it crazy like that. I would rather just keep it a bit normal, but it is fun that you have the ability to be able to have better draft classes. So even though this is not something that I would really play with, it does speak to how they are adding more customizable options into franchise mode. When you do turn it on high, you'll be getting 84 overall franchise or medium elites going first and second overall. Personally, I find that it happens a lot when you get into a deeper franchise mode, like in the years 20, 35, etc. It's not super uncommon, even if they're not franchise, but to find players who are drafted first overall between 83 and 84 overall. So I'm excited to see that you'll be able to maybe turn it to, I don't know if it's just low and high or if you can go to medium, but more realistic first overall picks that maybe will end up busting and not guaranteed be someone who scores like 70 goals because they're a generated player who has 98 shooting accuracy out of the draft. So great information here on franchise mode. Thank you so much to X-Tech for the inside information on that. And literally the best news I've heard all week is that simming in franchise mode is now super fast with almost zero wait time. This means that we can fly through career simulations, we can get, just in general, just be able to get a season done in less than 45 minutes when you're just doing through a franchise mode. And what would be great would be if it would be like MLB The Show, where you can go back to those games and look at the box scores from those specific games and see what happened in it. I don't think that'll be happening, but at least there is no more super long wait times, which will be literally game-changing. So I'll go ahead and stop it there because I know a lot of other information is going to be coming out over the coming days and weeks and months heading into NHL 21. But at the moment, that is the reaction and what we can find so far on franchise mode and be a pro in NHL 21. Thank you so much for watching. If you're actually new to the channel, I do a lot of NHL franchise mode here as well as other series such as FIFA 20. So I'm currently going through a franchise mode with the Buffalo Sabres. I've already done a couple with the Honolulu Huskies and with the Anaheim Ducks here in NHL 20. So go ahead, give it a watch, give a subscription, and I'll be sure to see you around here on the channel. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.